I'd seen this fascinating clip of you way back from JRE about dragons. I think that's how I discovered your episode.
That went like so viral.
Yeah.
So much so that Joe got made fun of on like a morning show in the United States. And he texted me and he's like, look at this. And he changed his Twitter handle to Dragon Believer. Like, it was like a whole thing. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Do you want to recap that conversation a bit? Because according to me, it is linked to megafauna in Australia, New Zealand, and the Galapagos.
Yeah, so I want to first of all say that, like, I don't necessarily believe in dragons, but there's a fun theory, and I explained this to Joe, that dragons were real. And he says, well, why were dragons real? I said, well, because if you look across the planet, China, India, I imagine, but I don't know for sure, Roman Empire, South America, I think Australia, South Africa for sure, they all had a giant fire-breathing flying lizard, or at least they all had a giant flying lizard, and that was a dragon. And this is all around the same time period. Now you ask yourself, okay, giant flying lizard, well, that's just folklore. Well, none of these cultures communicated, so it wasn't like I traveled to India and said, check out these flying lizards, and you traveled to South America and said, check out these flying lizards. But what I took it one step further to explain to Joe that what are the animals that are hardest to fossilize? It's birds. Why is that? Because if you're a large animal that flies, you have to have hollow bones. And hollow bones don't fossilize. They disintegrate for the most part. So even if they're, by the theory, had there been dragons 1,000 years ago, or whatever it was, it would have been very hard for them to fossilize. Because a fossil is like 1 in 10,000, 100,000 animals. Do you know what I mean? If that. I'm making those numbers up. But like, a fossil forms from 1 in a bazillion animals that happen to get stuck in a tar pit or happen to die in an anoxic mud hole or something like that. So maybe dragons were this very small group of animals that we never saw, because, we're always discovering new dinosaurs and things. And they were flying lizards. And because they were flying lizards, they covered the whole world and people saw them and they drew them in books and they wrote about them in fables. And then they were hunted out or they were killed out or climate change killed them, whatever it was. And none of them fossilized because they had little frail flying bones, which is what allowed them to travel around the world and also made them easy to kill.
Do you believe that this is a possibility?
Not really, but I think it's fun.
But what makes your belief? Like,
the fact that we have no physical... I am a scientist at the core of it. I'm a biologist. And everything that I choose to believe in, as far as Bigfoots and dragons and thylacines and everything in between, is based on scientific fact. And there is no scientific fact that there was dragon, but the theory is really fun. Yeah.
Okay, broader conversation. They say that all the animals and plant species that we see around us today is 1% of everything that ever existed on this planet.
That's right.
That's scientific fact?
I don't know if that's the number, but it's something like that. But that's not because 99% has... Well, it is because 99% has gone extinct, but it's more because 99% has changed over time.
Evolved into whatever we know the Earth as today.
That's right. It's not like, it's not like 1,000,000 years ago, there was 99% more things. It was just different things.
Do you enjoy conversations about megafauna?
Absolutely. You mean extinct megafauna?
Extinct megafauna.
Absolutely. Any of it.
The predecessors of the animals we know today.
Absolutely.
Like, I personally find it very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, stories about monsters fascinated me a lot. But if you actually gauge real history, this is the closest thing to monsters.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I think lots of our thoughts and understanding of monsters come from digging up a skull of a mammoth, or finding a T-Rex head when you're a primitive person, 500 years ago, and you find a T-Rex head in the sand,
Right.
not a decomposing head, a fossil, and you go, there are monsters here. It's not like humans knew what fossils were 500 years ago. We didn't know what that was. A bone was a bone, and then you find a T-Rex skull, and all of a sudden, let's say you find it in China, the whole of China, this word spreads of this big monster with the big teeth that comes from the mountain or comes from the tar pit or whatever. Now you've got a monster.
Probably led to the legend of dragons.
For sure. Godzillas and dragons, and I think it could be anything.
Like, we can't be the first humans in history who've discovered dinosaur bones.
No way. Of course
Right?
not. Yeah, no way.
Probably would have been discovered 800, 900 years ago.
No
also.
question. I mean, there are places you can go, Moab, Utah, places in South Africa where I grew up, where you can see dinosaur footprints in the
Really?
Oh, full, clear as day, walking along the mud. Imagine you're a primitive person 800, 1,000 years ago, and you're out hunting an antelope or a deer or something. You come down into the valley. You've spent your whole life hunting. all you know is tracking animals, looking at footprints. All of a sudden, there's a lizard footprint this big. You're going, oh my God, there's a monster in this valley. You don't know that's fossilized and stuck in stone for millions of years. Yeah.
That's probably the origin of the dragon.
For sure. Yeah.
So megafauna, something that's fascinated me so much since I'm a kid, but I'm never able to convey my fascination correctly to people who don't give a shit about megafauna.
Tell me, I'm in.
Why do you think people need to know about megafauna?
You're talking specifically about extinct megafauna, is that right?
I mean, I'm talking about like saber-toothed cats.
I got you.
Woolly
Yeah,
mammoths.
yeah, like Pleistocene animals. Yeah.
It's a short-nosed bear?
Short-faced bear.
Short-faced bear.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Joe Rogan keeps talking about.
Does he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, so those Pleistocene animals that we're talking about, those extinct megafauna, are the foundation for the animals we have today. Elephants are only here. The Indian elephant, the very elephant I've seen hundreds of in India this week, is 99.6% related to a woolly mammoth. They share 99.6% of the same DNA. Basically the same animal. You just add a little hair and make it cold tolerant, So, like, it's important to know these things. I don't know if it's important to know them, but if you are interested in how our animals became what our animals are today, it's nice to know where they came from.